Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another video we are going to be bringing you today for Laughingstock Cinema, in which we are going to be discussing the recently announced upcoming sequel for Halloween, which I guess right now is tentatively titled Halloween 2018, which will star the returning Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, the sister of Michael Myers, the main villain of the series. Now, joining me today is someone who is also seen the Halloween films, and I believe you are a fan of these, are you not?
I am a fan, and I'm also a main villain who tries to kill my own sister, so I can relate.
Yeah, and his name is Geekdom101, and you can check out his channel down below in the description, but what do you think of this idea that they seem to be putting out, that this is going to be not only just a sequel, but it's going to be basically a giant retcon movie, where the sequel is going to be ignoring Halloween, well, obviously 3, but 4, 5, H20, Resurrection, and...
H20? You mean H2O?
I can never tell with the name of that. Like, it's H2O, H20. Why would it even be called H2O to begin with? Like...
I mean, there's a couple things going on here. Well, first of all, I just want to say that the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be back in a Halloween movie, I like that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see her back. She is one of the original Scream Queens. If you have not seen the first Halloween, I mean, that's a classic film. Not just because of her performance, but when you watch that movie, what makes that movie so great and so different from other similar films is that the film is shot in a way to where you pick up on new things every time you watch. There's little hints here and there of Michael Myers kind of creeping around the background. And little things that John Carpenter put in there that you don't see it the first time you watch it. And I love that about the film. Now, and I'm glad she's back. So this is another one of these movies that Hollywood is banking on the nostalgia of. You know, we've seen a lot of this lately. But what they're doing is, because they killed her off in a previous Halloween movie, they're going to say, okay, well, that's now going to be non-canon. That's not going to, be the story.
It was all a dream.
Pretty much, yeah. It's sort of like what they kind of quasi did with Superman Returns, where Superman Returns was not a reboot. It was supposed to be a reboot of the franchise, but it was not a complete reboot. It was a sequel to Superman 1 and 2, but not, like, Superman 3 and 4 never happened. So you're supposed to ignore 3 and 4 and just go 1, 2, Return. So it's almost like a split timeline type of storyline. You got the original timeline, and you have this new timeline. Another film that did this is J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. Again, very similar. It's a reboot, but it kept the original canon. And then Terminator Genesis, which we talk about a lot, that one's also similar. That one didn't really erase the previous events of any of the films, except maybe Terminator 4, but it's another example of it. I'm excited to see it. I mean, it's being directed by David Gordon Green, who did Pineapple Express. I'm not sure what his horror background is, but this movie might not necessarily be in the same spirit as the old Halloween, where they build it up, because Michael Myers has already been kind of a public figure now, and keeping the monster a secret, it shouldn't really be done. But I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna go see it. It's like the third Halloween reboot. It's just called Halloween for now. I'll check it out, but you can definitely tell they're banking on nostalgia here, and they're banking on, the classic feel of the old stuff. Without question.
It's like everyone is trying to kind of replicate what Star Wars The Force Awakens did, bringing back the original cast, trying to have like a soft reboot of sorts, but still kind of continuing it, or just trying to cash in on nostalgia, like you said. There was a lot of hype for the Alien sequel that would completely ignore Alien 3 and onward, which didn't end up happening, and people nowadays, I feel like, are far more open to the idea of doing like retcons or completely altering the continuity in favor of telling stories with, more classic elements. And I'm sure we could both agree that the movie where Laurie Strode was killed off, Halloween Resurrection, is probably better off being ignored, a lot like Alien Resurrection.
I was not a fan of that movie. I'm sorry, I wasn't.
A movie where Busta Rhymes beats up Michael Myers with Kung Fu, that sounds totally acceptable to me. And to whatever studio executive signed off on that, totally.
Yeah. Now, I do want to say also, just real quick, what sucks, or what I'm curious about, get your thoughts on this, is we know that Donald Pleasance passed away in 95. He's not going to be playing the part of Dr. Sam Loomis, so I wonder if they're going to recast that part, or if they're going to just say that he died off screen.
Yeah, if they do pick it up after 2, I think that they might have kind of an out for him. Like, they could say that he died at the end of 2, 2 when he blew up all of the oxygen tanks and everything, lit on fire. Of course, in 4 and 5, he was still alive because I guess he somehow survived a point-blank explosion, all that fire. That never really made a lot of sense to me.
He survives everything, bro.
Yeah, but if they recast, maybe they could use the same actor that they used from the Rob Zombie movies, because I actually thought his casting was decent. Not sure who else could really play.
But that might confuse people too, because they're going to think that's part of the universe as well, bro.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but I just really was not a fan of those Rob Zombie remakes. Like, I just feel like they're better sticking to this Prime timeline, basically, instead of that.
I like the first one, but, we'll see what happens. That's weird, because that's just my opinion. I don't hate Halloween 4 and 5. They're okay. Maybe because I'm nostalgic for renting them when I was a kid, but they're alright. But this is supposed to be back to form. It's just that, at this point, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's not young anymore. She's still, a scream queen, a legend, don't get me wrong. But, right now, she is 58. So she's not going to play the screaming, kid. This is going to be like a movie where years have gone by and Michael Myers is back. So she's either going to end up being like the Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker type character where she's going to pass the torch to the next scream queen and say, okay, this is how you take out my brother. Or it's going to have some kind of different story. I just don't see it being... It could be similar to H2O, but she was younger even in H2O. So she's not going to be like... I don't think she's going to be the victim here. I think she's going to end up being like a side character, not the main character. Again, like Han Solo, Harrison Ford was in Force Awakens. That's a great comparison right there. That's kind of the way that movies are going now. We have, coming up very soon, we got Blade Runner, and Harrison Ford's not the main character. Gosling's the main character. Yeah, so it could be the same thing here where they're going to use the old actress to pull the hardcore fans in and then give them a new story. We'll see. These movies are really hit or miss. They really are.
Yeah, and honestly, I do like H2O, even though, I never liked having to, watch all of these movies and try and headcanon how they all make sense and how everything fits together in a continuity. Even though in Halloween 4 and 5, I guess they made it seem like Laurie died in some kind of accident. It was always hard to try and fit those together. But now I guess they're going to make it that much more confusing from that perspective. So, ignore some of the bad stuff. I really don't mind. I think it would be cool if they did combine the two stories from Halloween 4 and 5 with her daughter Jamie and Laurie. Maybe Michael Myers is after Jamie this time,
Who's grown up now, right?
Yeah. I think she actually had a cameo, the actress, in the Halloween reboot. So that was a pretty cool thing that they actually did. But yeah, I think it would be a cool idea to maybe try and combine those two instead of completely ignoring them, since I actually do like Halloween 4 and 5.
I like them. Not everybody does, though. Not everybody does. Some people actually drop the series. I've seen people tell me that they like 1, 2, and then H2O is their third favorite, and I'm like, I don't see how.
Yeah.
To be honest, even though I know that Laurie's the main character, Dr. Loomis is the second main character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He really is an important part of that story. He took care of Michael, for years or whatever. So, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I just hoping it's going to have the spirit of the first Halloween. I'm hoping that it's going to have the same kind of, maybe the same directing style.
Yeah.
It's not going to have the same feel, close to the same feel, but this is a modern film. It's not a classic film. Hopefully they shoot it on film and not digital, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give it that old school look. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, I'll see it. It's not coming out this year. It's coming out next year, 2018. And I believe the year after is when we're getting the chapter 2 of It. So, there's some good stuff coming up down the pike as far as horror goes. Happy Death Day comes out this year, and I do want to check that out because Blumhouse has been knocking it out of the park, and Blumhouse is also producing this film. So, there'll be some good stuff to talk about. There's just not much we can talk about right now because they're not shooting this thing until, late October or early November. They're going to start shooting it.
Getting that Halloween feel for the movie, too. That's a good idea.
You know what I think would be kind of awesome? Okay, this would be kind of cool. So, obviously, we know Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is not part of the Michael Myers storyline.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if this is going to be called The Real Halloween 3? And what you do is you're supposed to watch 1, 2, then this one, then 4 and 5. Maybe they could sandwich this one in between. Nah, that wouldn't make any sense because 4 and 5 take place back then, so that wouldn't make much sense. But this is going to be the new Halloween 3, though. That's pretty much what it is,
Well, yeah. They could always CGI Jamie Lee Curtis to be 30 years younger.
No, I'm done with that, bro. I'm done with it. Plus, this is a lower budget movie, bro. This ain't gonna be like Star Wars. They can bring Peter Cushing back to life, bro. Maybe they'll bring back Christopher Reeve as fucking Superman and make me happy.
Maybe in the future. But this has been us discussing the upcoming Halloween sequel. Let us know your own thoughts down below. If you're looking forward to this movie, what are some of your ideas that you would like to actually see implemented in the film? And of course, check out Geekdom101 in the description and the end card. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you could see all of my content right away when it comes out. Yeah, Michael Myers could never beat me, cause he doesn't even lift.